UK Islamic Charities host extremist cleric who endorses sex slavery. Very fun. In a troubling development, four UK Islamic charities are under investigation for hosting Ibtisam Elahi Zaheer, a Pakistani extremist preacher known for his inflammatory views. Zahir's controversial statements include claiming that Ahmadi Muslims don't have a right to live on earth. YouTube, I am reporting the views of another person. We condemn those views. And advocating for the sexual enslavement of female protesters of war, excuse me, female prisoners of war, stating that Islam has designed a solution where they are to be distributed to the soldiers in an organized manner or sold as slaves. The National Secular Society of the UK reported these charities to the Charity Commission, questioning their tax exempt status. Megan Manson of the National Secular Society, or NSS, emphasized it's galling to see tax breaks handed to mosques that host fundamentalists with divisive agendas where this clearly serves no public benefit. Zahir's unapologetic stance is evident in his statement where he said, quote, let them consider me as an extremist or a terrorist. This incident highlights the growing and ongoing debate about religious charities in the UK and the potential misuse of charitable status to promote extremist ideologies, raising critical questions about the balance between religious freedom and public safety. So here's the TLDR, the National Secular Society, which is a great organization in the UK. They're kind of like the Freedom from Religion Foundation, but for Britain. Um, they do a very good job of monitoring extremist activity in Islamic charities and reporting it to the authorities. Which is awesome because to my knowledge, we don't really have an equivalent of a secular organization doing that in the United States. Like I love Freedom from Religion Foundation. I think they do incredible work, but they're very heavily like evangelical focused. I mean, for good reason. That's most of the issues in the US. Um, but the Islamist use of charities in the UK, I mean, excuse me, the United States really does deserve being looked at. So the National Secular Society, they were basically tracking this radical Pakistani cleric and were reporting he went on like a speaking tour in the United Kingdom and he was allowed to go on a speaking tour despite all of his views and what he promotes. And so they reported these charities to the UK government, to the Charity Commission. Now, based on other issues we've covered with the Charity Commission in the UK and the actions that they failed to take against these kind of Islamic charities, to be honest, I'm not too hopeful that action will be taken. But this has been reported to them, and there is a push to try to get this guy banned from visiting the UK. Um, and let's hear some of his statements. According to the subtitles on a video uploaded in YouTube in 2012, Zahir has said that Qadianis or apostates do not have the right to live on earth. Qadiani is a derogatory term for Ahmadi Muslims who are severely persecuted in Pakistan because their theology is considered blasphemous by clerics by the majority Sunni Muslim community. In the video, Zahir said that if Ahmadi Muslims call themselves Muslim and refer to their places of worship as mosques, quote, we will never grant them the right to live. He said that he doesn't care if people think of him representing his views, saying let them consider me a terrorist. Um, this is a problem because there's been anti-Ahmadi hate crimes in the UK. He's also said in a post in his Facebook account in 2021, Zahir said Islam has, quote, designated a solution for female prisoners of war, which means, quote, they are distributed to the soldiers in an organized manner or, quote, sold as slaves. Zahir has repeated this view according to a 2010 television interview transcript published on Memory. In this interview, he said that it is permitted to use Jewish women captured in Israel as concubines. He also compares being the owner of a woman to being the owner of a goat or a horse and implies that men therefore have the right to sell women. Um and basically he praised the October 7th attack and was asking pro-Palestine rallies if they are ready to make the Jews of Israel suffer. Um yeah, and so this guy
And
went on a tour.
with all of that, you're saying they're going to keep their charity status?
I don't know. They have been referred to the Charity Commission, and I'm saying based on the failure of action from the Charity Commission in the past, I am not um
The fact
optimistic.
that that's even a question, like guys, the ones of you who are in the chat sometimes saying deport, 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 okay? And I say, well, you can't. Some of these people are UK citizens. You cannot deport them. Like, well, we can change the laws, right? The fact that when you have charities in the UK that are just promoting October 7th terrorist attack, slavery, RAPE, saying groups of people do not right to live. You cannot even take the tax exempt their tax exempt status. Taking that away is a question here. Right, we don't know if this is going to happen. Like the fact that this is not just immediately shut down, not just removing their tax exempt status as a charity, but just shutting down. Like if it was up to me, this whole organization would be shut down and raided, right? And they would not be able to even remain active, let alone having the privilege of not paying taxes while being active. So you are so far behind changing the UK laws. Like maybe try this at least before thinking that you could change the foundational principles of your laws in a way that someone's citizenship could just be taken away from them and deport them. Like you have charities that don't even pay taxes and they have their charity status while promoting sex slavery. What like you're not even beginning, like you're so far behind when it comes to laws, and you're like, oh yeah, let's like change everything and just take away people's citizenship.
Yeah, and this
Oh,
did not happen a long time ago. So this guy came into the UK on a speaking tour last month. Last month, he went to the Ul Qura Foundation, which has a mosque in Bradford and is endorsed by Zahir. The Al Hikmah Project, which runs a mosque in Keighley, Kenley. I don't know how to pronounce all these weird UK words. Maki Masjid, a mosque in Manchester. Markazi Jamaatiyat Al Hadith UK, an umbrella group based in Birmingham with over 45 mosques and other organizations that are affiliated with it. All four charities are registered under the charitable purpose of the quote unquote advancement of religion. The NSS has long highlighted how this purpose can enable the promotion of extremist ideology. In response, the Commission has opened assessment cases into these charities. So, to their credit, the National Secular Society of the UK has been calling upon the British government for years to amend or fix or remove the fact that you can have advancement of religion as a charitable purpose explicitly because it enables extremism. Um, so I this is
you know
why
what? You know what?
I
If
track
this,
the activities of the NSS because I really like the work that they're doing.
you know how you could get a charity banned immediately and get their, charity status away from them. Maybe they should have made a comment about immigration, or maybe that maybe that would get the authorities involved a lot faster. Maybe they should have like said, like, I don't know, maybe it made a questionable remark about puberty blockers, or maybe like,
Or maybe
just
make a
talking
gay
something.
joke. Just a joke.
Yeah, something. Well, no, if you're a Muslim, maybe they wouldn't come after you, right? So you have to be
Yeah, right.
non-Muslim and say something about LGBT, trans issues, something about the mass migration being problematic, or questioning Islamic values and saying that they're barbaric. Then maybe the authorities will get involved immediately, and then your charity status will go away. And then yeah, so but no,
Yeah,
but
have the
if
police
if it's
show
an
up on your
Islamist
door.
promoting, Yes, if it's an Islamist promoting sex slavery, then yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Dude, and the fact that that was all happening under like what 14, 15 years of governance by the Conservative Party, by the Tories is crazy to me. I'm like,
It's
I don't know, as an
insane.
American, I'm like, these are the conservatives? I'm confused.
What are you conserving? Actually, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, what are you conserving? Yeah.
Um
But
okay, so let's go through these super chats. Um Sid Dave is saying, I wish LGBT for Palestine, Western leftist spoke for religious minorities, LGBT people in the Muslim world, but alas, because they will lose Muslim votes. So you're talking
yeah,
about like there's a difference between the LGBT community and then left or liberal politicians. That's a very important distinction. Okay.
yes.
Because
And
the LGBT
also,
community is not like responsible for garnering Muslim votes per se. Like you're kind of conflating two different things. Um
you're also
yeah.
generalizing all of LGBT community. Like we have, it's not the LGBT community that is a problem. It's the liberal or far leftist mindset. Because we have many liberals within the LGBT community that actually do speak against, do bring voices to LGBT community people within like Middle Eastern countries, right? Like for example, we have Dolly here, right? Dolly is here.
Mhm.
Dolly is a activist. She keeps bringing attention to that. So
Or me.
the problem is, huh? Or yeah, or
The
yeah, Susanna. Yeah, Susanna is LGBT. So yeah, but yeah, so don't blame the LGBT. Blame the part of LGBT movement that is, you know, progressive,
ideologically
from the
captured.
progressive side. Yes, that has been a yeah
There's a reason for that. It goes
liberal part of this.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really is a generalization because there are some people of the LGBT community who like I wish I could remember his name right now, but in the Netherlands in the early 2000s there was a politician who was a gay man who was speaking out against his concerns about mass migration, particularly of North Africans into the Netherlands, and his concerns about his safety and the rights available to him as a gay man. And he was assassinated for it and tarred and smeared as far right, as a gay man being concerned about growing homophobia in his country. He was killed for that. This was before the murder of Theo Van Gogh. Like, or isn't the leader of the AFD party a lesbian?
Yes. Yes, she is, and she has a wife. She lives with her wife.
um And so a lot of people expressly have this concern because they're LGBT and they have a sense that homophobia is being imported into their country. I've witnessed this myself. I was on the like the train not too long ago and this is something that's just normal in my city. Like every now and then you'll be on public transportation and there'll be some weirdo like yelling about some stuff. And there was this guy on the train who he had a very thick African accent. I can't remember like I can't place the accent. But he was all of a sudden right before getting on the train screaming about homosexuals, how he would kill anyone that tried to make him accept homosexuals.
YouTube,
Yeah.
YouTube. These are not our views. Like, oh my god, the K word is gonna get us in trouble. YouTube. Susanna is talking about other people.
Yeah.
We are exposing them. We stand against them. Okay, Jesus.
And so I'm like literally watching this happen in front of my eyes, and everyone else. I mean, I live in an extremely progressive city, is just standing there like saying nothing. And I'm like, yeah, I can understand why there are some LGBT people who are like putting up a wait a second, this is a little bit scary for me. Like,
All right, we need to go to. I'm excited about Ahmed's super chat because I want to also talk about his
oh, okay.
profile picture. Yeah, but let's go to the other super chats until we get to
Yeah.
Ahmed.
Erkin gave a super chat
Yeah.
saying
Oh.
communism is stateless, familyless, and moneyless.
Well, actually, you cannot generalize like that. Communism is, we have different brands of communism. Communism goals is to eventually be stateless, but we have state communism in the middle. Like Stalin's communism is not stateless. It's, if anything, it's it's too much statism, I guess. I think so. You cannot say that entirely about all forms of communism. Communism has different. They're all evil and they're all wrong and all are bad for society, but not all of them are the same, right?
Sid Dave gave a super chat saying such individuals all voted labor. How liberal? Again, Sid, you are misunderstanding something. There is a huge movement against Muslim voting blocs away from labor because of labor's support for Israel. Like this was a phenomenon within the past election, how entire like neighborhoods and districts are being lost to other candidates, other third party candidates because they are organized in stepping away from labor. Like you can go read articles in the Guardian about this. It's not that simplistic. Um
Yes.
like this is how George Galloway got his MP seat is off the back of capitalizing on Muslim grievance.
Yeah, and when
Um
you say all in your claims, it's easy to debunk. Whenever you say all, it's easy. It usually becomes easy to debunk what you're saying. And I avoided saying all by saying usually. See? Anyways,
Ahmed, this is the one you wanted to get to. Um said I think Islam in the UK reached a level of power that can block any action against it. There was a Muslim Brotherhood infiltration technique that they used in the Arab governments called the blocking third. We would call this essentially a fifth estate, I think.
this is what I would call escape velocity. Okay. So you reach to a point where even if you're still a minority, but you're still to the level of minority that you have enough influence that there's the pushback against you is going to be uh, difficult to impossible. Like the rate of increase has reached escape velocity and is like unreachable now. So that's maybe what you're referring to. But Ahmed also, this is his first super chat. And also Dolly was excited because Dolly is Egyptian as well. Dolly saying, happy that we have an Egyptian here. Thanks for the super chat. But also, I just wanted to comment on Ahmed's profile picture, and I don't know if I'm correct about this or not. So maybe Dolly and Ahmed could correct me. But just like in Iran, where a lot of people use Zoroastrian symbolism to to have a pushback against Islamic takeover of their land, because Zoroastrian symbolism represents Iran before Islam. Many Egyptians who are anti-Islamic use the imagery of ancient Egypt as an identity of Egypt that is not Islamic or pre-Islamic. It's basically a form of a symbol for nationalism as opposition to Islamism. Am I correct about this understanding of how the imagery of the pharaohs or like anything from ancient Egypt sometimes has that utility in Egypt in the same way that Zoroastrian symbols is used in Iran against Islamism? Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.